Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat. Tonight on Prime FM 105.5. This program is also being relayed by Radio Gegema, that is in Nimba County, Radio Kwatika in Bonk, and of course Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. We are also streaming live on our Facebook page, that is the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Just go to where they have the search, and of course, you tap Nighttime Heat, and then you follow the show and you share the show. We are also streaming live on our YouTube channel. Again, where they have the search, I'm sure you have that channel on your phone or your laptop. Just tap once again Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do that, you're going to subscribe and you follow the show. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Moravia 105.5. So 3 platforms we are streaming live on. So wanted to share the show tonight so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's coming up tonight, because tonight promises to be very, very interesting. We'll be talking about a lot of things, that have been, taking place or have been hearing about in our country. So tonight promises to be very, very interesting. Want to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners all can follow. I'm still expecting my 2 panelists, George Kennedy and Moses Sandy. As soon as they come, I will get into the discussion between now and 8:30. And then at 8:30, we'll be looking at, yesterday, first today, the latest report of the latest U.S. human rights report came out today. And of course, it looks very, very gloomy. Certainly the issue of freedom of the press, the issue of freedom of association or speech at workplaces, the issue of pre-trial detainees, a gloomy picture. We'll talk about that later on today, along with our guests. And of course, there was a story that came up yesterday. It has to do with the RB Bank. And of course, the story indicated that Interpol in Ghana is looking for a shareholder of the bank who allegedly linked to our central bank governor. Well, how true is it? We'll be looking at that also this tonight. And then also, the court today issued the eviction order against the former ruling CDC party. The court has ordered, in fact, instructed the Inspector General of Police, Gregory Coleman, to get his men to go and evict CDC. It's troubling, but we'll talk about that. And then also, the raid, police raid on the World Trade Center. What was the reason behind that? There has been some speculations. We'll talk about that as well when time permits. And then the letter from Musa Beledi, Representative Musa Beledi, to the president, urging him to be careful before he's linked to economic crime. We'll be looking at that tonight as well, as soon as our guests come in. So tonight it's a very packed edition. We've got a couple of national issues I'll be talking about tonight. Also the president held a cabinet meeting today, looking at the economy and other national issues. We hope to get some details and facts coming out of that cabinet meeting. hoping to connect with the presidential press secretary, Kula Fufana, just to give us, some summary of what happened today in the cabinet meeting. Well, that's the lineup of tonight. And of course, again, we want to share the show. We are streaming live on 3 major platforms: our Nighttime Heat Facebook page, our Nighttime Heat YouTube page, and of course, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5 Facebook page. We are also streaming live on that. So we'll be right back. Saba George is my name. Please don't go away. Along with the producers here, we'll be right back after the same.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's start.
Okay, so we are starting, but I'm yet along. In the meantime, and of course, we're about to get into our discussions. I haven't seen Moses yet. It seems Moses is trying to make his way as well. I haven't seen George Kennedy. Kennedy is trying to make his way as well. I'm sure, and I believe, because I trust those guys very well, and I'm sure they will join the discussion tonight. Tonight, again, promises to be very, very interesting. We'll be looking at a couple of national issues. Issues that have been taking place. We'll be looking at that tonight. So hope that you join us. You share the show. We want you to share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also join the bandwagon in sharing the show. Because it promises to be very, very interesting tonight. We'll be trying to discuss also about the raid at the raid on the World Trade Center. Just a few days ago, the World Trade Center was raided by police. Who understand? Looking for something. So hoping to talk about that also. And then also, I'm sure you saw the story that had to do with the RB Bank, and of course, the writer linking our central bank governor to the shareholder who's currently being haunted for by Interpol. We'll talk about that, and then I'm sure you saw the video yesterday. The video involving the lady who was seen assaulting and insulting. It's not alleged because some of us we saw the video, and we were troubled, for a female to be involved with that. In fact, an elderly woman to be involved with what she was involved with. Assaulting. I understand she has been charged and forwarded to court for simple assault and other charges. We heard the police spokesperson, reading those charges against. That there are some reports that she's a classroom teacher. She's also the wife of a clergyman. How true is that? We don't know yet. But it was very troubling. And let me just play this video. Let me try to upload the video and play it quickly. Then we talk about that before my 2 panelists can arrive, because we can be waiting for them. I think Moses is trying to get connected. We're hoping that Moses can come on quickly, and then Josh Kennedy also can come in. But let's try to upload the video, and then we watch the video and talk about that quickly. Don't go in.
You can go. You can go. You can go. You can go.
You will not go.
You can go.
You will not go. I have not go and arrest you. You will not go. No man will touch you. You will not go.
I call the police when they arrest me. If I be paying that money, what can I pay? They put out of water.
I'm sorry for okay action. Before you don't you will not go.
You not going. Don't go. You can go.
You not going.
You can go. You can mess with your police. You that's your leave. You are there. That's your cannot go. She can go. You not going. You not going.
I see it's for the radio.
No, you're not going. You not go. You can go. You can go. You're sorry, Ryan. You can go nowhere.
Naomi, I say, I can come into you the Romeo and Jamaica. It's 046.
She can't start beating up. She can't go. She can't go nowhere. Man, you're not going nowhere. You're not mess with your own police. They say you won't go. You can mess with your own police. No, don't touch her. Don't touch her. You going. You can go, man. You can go. You can go.
Hello, man. Hello, man. Hello.
You can go, man. Man, you can go. Where?
Okay, I think you saw the video, and of course the video was trending. It went viral, everyone, everywhere talking about what happened yesterday. Let me welcome my colleague Moses Sandy quickly. Moses, welcome to the nighttime heat.
Thank you, Saba. Thank you. It's a pleasure. And George, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys today. A very interesting video. How are you people doing today?
Well, we are okay. Very interesting. Let's begin with you, Moses. What's your take concerning this video?
Well, as I've always said, that our people in Nigeria, maybe I would be too general to say that, but a good number of our people have little or no regard for people in law enforcement. We do not respect our police officers. We disrespect them. And that is so because the people who are in authority, they themselves do not respect their own police officers. I saw that video yesterday. And this just reminded me about the lady that the two officers went to arrest the Muslim woman that exhibited similar behavior. Look, Sobat, what I saw yesterday, America is not a country of saints. But what I saw that woman do yesterday, my brother, you do that in this country, you will ever regret why you chose to do that. Never. Never. But when these things happen, our authority, take for example, the action by the director of police to apologize to the Muslim community for what that Muslim lady did to that police officer. In behavior modification, we say reinforcement of negative behavior. When people do bad things, and then instead of punishing them, you award them. So that apology from the director of police, that has further emboldened people to disrespect police officers because human behaviors are learned. That's why you saw this woman do the same thing. Sober. A 67-year-old woman conducting herself like that, it's just unfortunate. Very
Okay,
unfortunate. Let me stop there.
okay. George, you saw the video as well. Mr. Kennedy, what's your take concerning that?
As I said, when I saw that video, I felt so bad. It is saddening. It is an embarrassment. It is disgraceful to see someone who is a religious mother in her church. Her husband is a bishop. To behave herself that way. The truth is, as the big brother Moses Sandy said, this country, we have to work on ourselves. Had it been SOD4, those days, Chancellor's SOD, no civilian in Liberia was brave to go around the police force, touch the uniform. Nobody. But today, the aggression, even though it has its own history, because of past regimes' failure to actually support the police force, we now have a history of a repeat of what's been happening in those times to today.
Mm-hmm.
You remember one time at the headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change,
Mm-hmm.
the deputy police director was whipped. What? So these things happened, nothing went on. We saw Representative Yaka Kolba on the street, standing on the vehicle, challenging the police authority. A senator, a U.S. senator, while a minister having a press conference, went to ask simple question in that press conference. He was manhandled by state security and cuffed. Here today we
I
see
saw that video.
Yeah, here today we saw first a female, a religious woman misbehave to a uniform officer or a team of uniform officers. One of the officers there was suspended. James Goodave Promo, our media colleague, raised money to pay that woman's salary because she was suspended by the police director. I mean, for negligence or whatsoever, and punished for 1 month without pay. Police directors apologized to that particular Fula woman embodying this particular action by this woman today against these officers. It is wrong when it comes to law enforcement. We shouldn't take side as a country because any country can develop. It is the law and law enforcement that will help to encourage investors, to encourage the citizens to abide by the law. And once they abide by the law, definitely that country will develop. But here today, I'm not calling for a police state where people will be reckless, security forces will be reckless. But I'm saying that the law should take its course. We should make the state, everybody in the country to understand that no matter the character or behavior of the police officer, when they are in a uniform, take their number, their ID number or their names, you report them, and don't physically assault them because they got a state uniform on them. That's our country's flag. We should respect the securities.
Okay, I think that you both said all. When I saw that video, I was very, very appalled. I was shocked. For a lady, to behave. I didn't know that she was a wife of a clergyman. I didn't know she was a female teacher. And the first thing I would like to say is to commend the two police officers.
Yeah.
They acted very professional. Often we always beat on the police, criticize the police, and as a result, today we see many of them who were in recent times suspended by the IG, who's doing very well, trying to instill that sort of discipline in the police. We think he's doing well, and I'm sure it is against that backdrop that those two officers acted very professional yesterday. But on the part of the woman, I was shocked, and it was just shocking, despicable, troubling, unfortunate. She provoked the officers, and I could hear the other officers, telling his friend, "Don't touch her, don't touch her."
Yeah.
And at the end, they sent for a female, police, and we understand she has been charged, and I think she slept in police cell. She has been charged, and we don't know whether they've signed her bond, but that was disgraceful. She disgraced herself, disgraced her family, disgraced her church, disgraced the students that they understand she's teaching. It was totally disgraceful. For a female to have behaved the way that woman behaved was very, very disgraceful. But we're hoping, that moving forward, and I continue to see, until we can begin to work on our psyche, our mind, we're not going to go further as a country, as a people. And I continue to just compare with Ghana. For us to reach the self-development that Ghana has today, it will take us years, because we're too damn foolish in this country. We're too evil. We don't respect the law. We don't respect each other. We don't love each other. Just in recent time, a few days ago, I saw people posting pictures of who people of who they think are suitable to succeed the late Minister of State. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? What kind of country we have here? Look, I continue to say, if I had the opportunity, I'll go and buy a house in Ghana. I just leave Ghana. I left Ghana. I forget about Liberia.
Why his mother remains
still? Why the name mother is still lying? And we are hearing that the mother does. I mean, the wife is refusing to allow her husband remains to come to Liberia for some befitting state funeral. We hear all of that. Then they're posting pictures of individuals, and those individuals' pictures they're posting, I thought they would have come up and say, "Look, don't post my picture," and just go on whatever they post and say, "Look, I'm distancing myself from this." Yeah. We are money as a country, but you see some of them, they post their pictures and they're all in the street corners and celebrating that. What kind of country is this? It's troubling, man. It's troubling. And Liberia, like I said, former President Ellen Johnson said he played a part. She left. Former president, we have played. Those owners will play his part, but you not take us near where Ghana is. We don't even reach the 1% of where Ghana is. We're not reach there. As a country, as a people, until we can change our mind, our mindset, we see it's troubling, man. It's troubling. Moses, I think you have something on mind as well to talk about.
Yes. Before I say that, let me just say this quickly. Look, we'll play the video, but let me just say this quickly. Okay. Law enforcement is very costly. If our people will be treated with dignity, they need to appear as police officers, law enforcement as a whole. When you see someone with his full, police gear, full military gear, such thing would never happen. We got police officers walking the streets of Monrovia. They don't even have batons. So people take them for granted. People take them for granted. Sometimes you hear people say, first impression matters. The way you look, it can give, some level of authority, or people just take you to be nobody. Mm-hmm. You see a police officer with torn trousers, torn pedal boots. We denigrate our officers, our law enforcement people. Look at the LDA people and see how dirty they look.
Moses, let me differ with you a bit. That does not mean because a police officers or a police officer or some of the officers are not neatly attired. That doesn't give anyone the right to disobey or to insult or assault a police officer or to disregard the law. No, That doesn't give a citizen the right. Yes, while it is true that we urged, the hierarchy of the police. In fact, we hosted Gregory. He spoke about that before. They are making effort to ensure that police, receive new attires, and all of that in the world. That does not give anyone the right. Moses, if you saw that video, which I know you saw yesterday, Moses, that woman behaved like I thought she was abnormal. Because nobody is normal. And I said to myself, my wife would do that. I will not follow behind you. When you're taking the call, you will go there. Yeah, seriously. If my wife behaves that way, no, you will follow behind you. Because I don't expect that from you.
They say
It's troubling, man.
in marriage, they say for better and for worse.
No.
One of the worst.
No. I ain't sure that's the reason why we are home. I will always ring that bell to you to say, no, when you go out there, please don't cause problem. Cause the problem right here at home and don't go cause it in the streets. Because if you go there, I will have it has a reflection on the family.
Yeah, so quickly, what I was saying is that I was simply saying that our officers need to appear as officers. And people take advantage of them because the way they look. I'm not in any way suggesting that it is good to disrespect our officers. But I am telling you, you heard George, he spoke about the SOD. George, those days when you saw those guys, were you not intimidated just by their presence?
I would be departing for their presence.
Of course. I'm telling you, our officers need to appear as law enforcement officers. Okay, now let's come to what we talk about.
So
I had the opportunity. I'm sure you're going to play the video. I saw Senator DeLong. And that is nothing personal. I think the senator is making himself so unpopular. I don't think Senator DeLong will win re-election come 2029. I saw the senator making mockery of the poor in Liberia. Let's look at Darius DeLong. DeLong comes from a very poor country. A very poor family. The guy had literally nothing. It amazes me that this man was sitting on social media talking about the number of people that show up to his office, even people who voted for him, and making mockery of their plight. I thought as a lawmaker, we should be what? Trying to identify solutions to the problems our people have. And let me stop there. Let's play the video. Let the people hear the senator as he made mockery of our people. And then later we can do the analysis.
Okay. I'm trying to upload a video. Yeah.
Can get fed. The country is suffering and don't want to enjoy. So the people voted for you. Every birthday, you must contribute to it. Every bereavement, you must contribute to it. Even if they're working or they're not working. And sometimes they will come and remind you, 2019, they were all supporting. Every occasion the people have, they come to the lawmaker, and you give 5 persons out of 10 who ask you, the 5 gone that you mean, you wicked, you evil, they're waiting for election to decide what else. And 2029 coming,
Yes, Moses, you listen to him.
Yeah. I listened to the senator. Senator DeLong for Senator DeLong for. Okay, yeah, George, go ahead. Go ahead, George.
I look at it from 2 ways, right? Particularly, he's right. But was the forum going live to say, was it correct? You understand? I said no. That's the Mr. Sunday.
Yeah.
Particularly, that's what our people do here. I mean, it's true what he said. Nobody can deny that. But was he right? Was it really, expedient for him to go live to say that. I thought he should be working on policy, as Mr. Sandy said, to see how to tackle these things instead of going. I think he brought disgrace to his supporters. But it is true. Frankly, it's true. It's like I go beg you for something and you go publicly, you go announce.
I think because our guests are joining us. I think, gentlemen, my perspective is that I think the senator was trying to grandstand. Even if people were going to you and asking, I sometimes ask myself, I don't know what when people are put in, when they see themselves in certain positions of trust. I don't know what they think as to, do they think as to how they got there? Maybe they feel, it's because of my education, or because of my look, or it's because of my talent or my expertise that I'm in this position. And that's the mistake we made. If God places you in a position, that position is intended so that you can help the poor. And if you're helping the poor, you don't have to go and grandstanding and do videos and say people are backing in and this. That's totally uncalled for. I will not do it in my little level.
No,
I will not do it. Some of us, when we had a hand, we're helping people. Do we go around and telling people I'm helping this person?
You don't do that.
No, man. I think Delon is dropping the ball. On a more serious note, Dallas Delon. I voted for him myself, but I thought Senator Delon will be speaking like a senator now, and not speaking at that level.
Acting,
that's a senator. That be speaking at that level. The position Senator Delon is in, that God has placed in that position. God could place somebody there. Yeah. God could let somebody go there, but God decided to look. Senator Delon, it's your time. Go and serve as senator. He should use that position to help people. And when he's helping those people, he shouldn't badmouth them or make mockery of them. That he's trying to grandstand. For me, I like to talk, man. I don't miss my words. He's grandstanding. Why he's dead by recording people come to us and say, God bless you that so we can help people. It's in the Bible. When God told Abraham, I will bless you so that you can become a blessing. Yeah. When you are blessed, it's for you to be a blessing. And you can be a blessing. You go telling people, people can come to us. Hey man, that's little of you. At the end of the day, tomorrow God takes a job from you. They say, then you're passing around and people making mockery of you. You look for it because God placed you there. You started making mockery of other people that you're supposed to help. Okay, Moses, I think we have to get into our discussion. Yeah, but I want us to take a few calls. Before then, we still have some of our guests still joining us. Let's just try to take a few calls out of 5 or 6, and then we can join our guests quickly. 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Just a few calls to hear from you concerning what we've been talking about, the issue involving the lady who assaulted the police officers, and this statement made by Senator Dallas Delon. No, some of us we know. I don't think he should be going around. God placed him there to help people and not to make mockery of people. 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793, or better still, 0886 540 987. 0886 540 987. That's the numbers to call and to alive on the nighttime heat. Just 3 words, just 0778 540 987. Let's take this first call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Yeah,
okay. Let's hear from you quickly.
I'm Emmanuel David. After from our one meeting, I would have to speak to the issue of the women and the ordinary people that could be out to keep the food. I think that we have exposing these people to the internet or to war. That is exposing these people. But also, take the either the character of to the war. We came to know that we don't have
Okay, line is bad. We can continue with you, please. Either you can call the other line, 0778-460-793. Just few minutes quickly. A few calls we want to take. 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-540-987. Again, 0886-540-987. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the program. Just a few calls quickly before we get into our discussion. We want to hear what your take on what we've been talking about regarding the lady was taken to the police headquarters after she assaulted and assaulted police officers, and then the video we just played talking about Senator Darius Dillon's grandstanding move against our people who he said go to back him. 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-540-987. Again, 0886-540-987. That's the number to call, and you are live. Let's take this call on the line. Yeah, good evening, quickly.
Yeah, Abraham Johnny calling for history.
Let's hear from you.
Yeah, with the topic under discussion, especially the woman assaulting on the police officer, if you try to compare, there are some other reasons. Because we in Africa, we always get to subscribe to the European, particularly America, democracy, human rights, this and that. And when you look at America, what they can take, what other country they would demand them to do. If you are in America, that one can happen. But look at in Liberia right now. Nana has they coming out with research or result about Liberia human rights abuse, this and that. So even the government and the official and now the police, they work in there and serving rules, they do things on their own, the way they want to do it. With the way dignity and prayer with that and everything. How will you go be on a police officer or even government official whosoever? I dare you. You can't do that one in the European country or neither or America whatsoever.
Okay.
Even the French country around here. You can't do it.
Okay.
In Africa, the Guinea, they will beat on you back.
Okay, thank you. You made your point. Already. We really appreciate your time making your point at 0778-460-793. That's the number to call, or better still, 0886-540-987. Again, 0778-460-793. We'll just take one more, or better still, 0886-540-987. That's the number to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat. Moses, let's try to connect with our guests quickly. A few of them have been waiting. Let's try by all means to connect with them. So Moses, you can welcome them quickly to the program.
Well, I see my friend and brother David Cody. Cody, welcome, sir. My man, you gotta send me that too, though. You gotta send me that too. Yeah, I'd like to use this opportunity to welcome you, Mr. Cody, Mr. Marcel Coy, to this discussion, which has to do with our country. It's a pleasure to have the both of you tonight. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. And Mr. Sandy, I was just about to ask you about your dress for this evening. Are you heading for the Senate?
Yeah. My man, I can't go do my janitorial work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
It's good to be here.
Okay. And then also, Mr. Massacre, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's try to get your microphone on. welcome to the program again.
Thank you so much. We are happy to be here. Look forward to a fruitful, a patriotic, and informative conversation as it relates to the forwardness of our state. Because whenever the opportunity is given for people to be here, that is the real essence of democracy. So I look forward to a fruitful conversation. It's great being here.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's get into our discussion quickly. Let me read just a few points of the latest U.S. Human Rights Report on Liberia. It says that the 2024 country reports on human rights practice in Liberia, the executive summary. There were no significant changes in the human rights situation in Liberia during the year. They said there's no significant changes. There was no, significant changes in the human rights situation in Liberia during the year. Significant human rights issues included credible reports of arbitrary or unlawful killings, torture, or cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment, or punishment, arbitrary arrests, or detention, serious restrictions on freedom of expression and media freedom, including violence or threats of violence against journalists, censorship, trafficking, impressing, and systematic restriction on workers' freedom of association. Gentlemen, this report cover all of that, and I'm sure some of us might have read the report, but those are issues that the report fled. The issue of arbitrary arrest, pre-trial detainees, the issue of human rights violations, the issue of poor press freedom, poor association at work, and all of that. Let me get your take, Mr. Cody. First, let me begin with you. Do you think, we'll look at the specifics, but do you think this report paint the exact picture of what is obtaining in our country, or is just a makeup? Mr. Cody, you are muted. Good evening. Okay. All right. So let's. I think it's on pause. Let's try to hear from you since you are in studio, Mr. Masqua. Do you think this report paints the exact picture of what is obtaining in our country, or do you think, in fact, part of the report flagged the named the presidential press secretary as well? He also spoke about the dismissal that you and others were involved with from the MCC. So do you think it paints the exact picture of what has been happening in the country over the last 1 year?
To be very honest with you, I like to begin on this note. The report is not a new thing to anybody. I believe the report is just a reminder
or a confirmation to everything that has happened in the country.
Yeah, we're getting negative feedback, please.
To everything that has happened in the country over the period of review. 2024.
So getting that feedback, please. Please mute it. Yeah, go ahead.
So let us look at the various components of the report. As a matter of fact, it is a 17 pages report that states clearly on freedom of expression. So on freedom of expression, I am a living testimony to the censorship on free speech. Remember, MIU today makes its 1 year anniversary when we were unlawfully dismissed from the Monrovia City Corporation on the order of the CSA director, going to a MICA press briefing and just giving order for the massacre, Alpha Gray, Bokwe, and others are on Facebook, so they should be dismissed. No prior rounding, no suspension. No, that was indeed a violation of of our constitutional and fundamental human right. So the report highlighted that. The report also highlighted when it comes to the undermining of the media and the press. Remember the other day, you people were mentioning about class reader. It is a dangerous thing. You know what class reader is actually dangerous? People went to school. They were taught to be professional people. The act of this press secretary of the executive mansion calling journalists, blasting at them, you not carry the story you want to carry, threatening them, ordering that you will undercover the executive mansion if you get something pinned. At the end of the day, they try to give their own set story. It is a way to undermine the media. So now, I think Senator Dillon should be running an open apology to veteran journalist John Colley, because veteran John Colley was clear. He said the particular action of the government to be running all of the stations, all of the informations, all of the jingles on class reader and pro-government institution, it is a way to undermine the media. You get Plan FM, you're doing a very good job. Plan FM should be involved. So the report also admitted that this particular action from the government is wrong.
Okay, let's hold it there. Mr. Cody, Mr. Cody, let me read a portion, and then I'll come back to you quickly on the freedom of the press. Quickly, the Constitution provided for freedom of expression, including for members of the press and also media, and the government generally respected these rights, although with some unofficial limits. Individuals were generally free to criticize the government publicly or privately, but government officials sometimes use dismissal or threat of dismissal from employment to place limits on freedom of expression for public servants. In August, the Monrovia City Corporation dismissed 9 cited employees following allegations they used social media to criticize government officials and the president. But besides, the report also talk about the issue of arbitrary arrest. But Mr. Cody, let me ask you: do you think this report paints exactly what is happening, or it's just a makeup?
Well, thank you. I see the report as a wake-up call. You know, I haven't read the entire report, but I see it as a wake-up call. I don't think the Americans are looking for anything in particular from this government to say they're going to make them look ugly. But I have a question for Mr. Massaquoi. Mr. Massaquoi?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. With the issue concerning the Monrovia City Corporation, is there a law in the civil service or servant association that says that when you are an employee of a government entity, you don't criticize the government on Facebook or making negative comments against the government? Because when I first heard this thing from the CSA director, I heard him saying that it is a law that you don't do so. I want to get that clear before I can say what I want to say. Is there any law on the ground?
So the government used the Civil Standing Act and the Code of Conduct until dismissal. As a matter of fact, here is my dismissal letter. So let me just be brief and to read a portion. This administrative action is in consonance with Chapter 6, Section 6.2 of the Code of Conduct, subsection 6.123, and also the Labor Law of Liberia, Section 15. So, in essence, the government used updated labor law that's not into existence anymore to dismiss us. The government claim that they also use the code of conduct, but the same code of conduct say there are processes of dismissing someone. You should you should serve a warning letter. Thereafter, a suspension. Unfortunately, none of this. So you cannot be enforcing the code of conduct on Forded Massacre and order for MCC when today the Office of Ombudsman have recommended over 30 persons to be dismissed because they have violated the part 5.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. The ombudsman issue will come in. I too have something to say about that. I agree with the head of the ombudsman. Councillor Hanga. I think those people should be dismissed. That's a different topic. We're going to come to that. But now that you have just read the law, 2 questions. Number 1, do you think it was a wrongful thing for you to be dismissed when it is in the law? And number 2, are you going to challenge it in court? Because if you were dismissed unlawfully, I think you should go to court. Will you go to court?
No.
You just
no. Like I said, the law used by the government is outdated. We are no longer using the labor law of Liberia. We now have the decent work law of Liberia. So the government used an outdated law that's not in existence to dismiss us. And going to court, no, we're not going to court. You know what? We're not going to court. We will not go to court with a government that have bastardized the Constitution of Liberia more than any other government in the history of Liberia. Remember when we went to court on the Capitol Hill, legislative coup d'etat, the court issued a very clear mandate. This man is the speaker. This particular government refused to respect the code.
Okay, so let us go in there. Mr. Cody, you said that the report is a wake-up call. What do you mean? Are you agreeing to all what is in the report? Is that what you agreeing to when you say the report is a wake-up call?
Well, like I said from the beginning, I hadn't read the report in its entirety, but some of the things that I heard in the report that are true. And I don't see any reason why the government should be giving any excuses. All we need to do is to work on those problems we have. I don't have the entire information, but some of them are true. And what we should do is not giving excuses here and there, but to work on them.
Let me read another point here in the report, Mr. Yes, go ahead.
Just before you read the other segment of the report, let me just share my own perspective on the termination of the employees. I do not live in Liberia, I do not work for the civil service. But let me share with you how it works here in the United States where I live. Any employer or any employee for that matter, if you are at work, you are on the clock, like me. If I'm in my office, I cannot even access any social media outlet on my work computer. Automatically, it is blocked. If I even use my phone to go on social media while I am on the official work hour, the time that I am being paid for, if I'm using that time to be on social media and not doing the work of the company, I can get terminated. That's a violation of what? The laws, the employment law. Because I should be using my time to do the company's work. I'm not saying this to justify what happened in Liberia. So we need to have a clearer understanding of the labor laws in Liberia, the law which is being enforced by the Civil Service Agency. However, if an employee from government is at home after 5, after 6, the person is at home, the person is on social media, and the person expresses his or her candid opinion about happenings in the country, that's the person's free time. Such person cannot be terminated from speaking against any issue in the country. So we need to understand the people that were terminated from the MCC. What time were they on social media? What were some of the criticisms that the CSA said that these people made against public officials and the president of the Republic of Liberia? We need clarity.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
We need clarity on that.
Moses, this is where I wanted to bring you in before you just came in. The issue of the media. But let me read this. That's in the report. A June 20th meeting between Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana and media executives turned contentious, leading several editors to walk out. The incident arose concerning new accreditation requirements for journalists covering the executive mansion, including police clearance and institutional tax clearance certificates. These policies, okay. Now, let me now go further. Moses, you listened to part of what we read concerning press freedom and freedom of expression. Some of the issues highlighted, they don't seem favorable, especially for the government. How you are media personnel and been practicing for quite a long time, media. Moses, I will come to George. Do you think these highlights in this report, they are perennial problem, or do you think they just popping up now?
Well, I beg to differ with the press secretary, the Ministry of State, and the Liberian government on this. However, let me come from this firm perspective. If you read the report speaks about effort by this administration to uphold press freedom. So let's applaud them for that. At least they're making some progress. They spoke about some little challenges with some officials of government, and the particular situation which has to do with it's not that somebody someone is disturbing the background. Can you just mute that person? Are you hearing me? Someone? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, let's applaud them for the effort they've been making to uphold press freedom, free speech. The contentious meeting, which was held in June of 2024 with the press secretary, I was shocked when I read that particular component of the report, asking for police clearance for reporters assigned at the executive mansion, that in order to be accredited, they need police clearances. And one of the preposterous things that I read is that the Ministry of State to the press secretary is asking that they want free publicity, free advertisement on the website of media entities. The government is also asking for tax clearances. Guys, as a media person, I know things have changed. When I was in Liberia, I did not experience this. I'm sure, George, you didn't experience that. Mr. Sober, you didn't experience that. The government, I don't know where the press secretary is coming from, but media institutions are businesses. You cannot ask a media institution to give you free advertisement because you want a reporter from that entity to cover the executive mansion. Covering the executive mansion, covering the news. You are not paying for that. These people are doing what? The public good. So for you to demand that, hey, before we can have your reporter at the executive mansion, we need what? Free advertisement. It doesn't make sense. It is preposterous. I don't know. I don't know. Asking for what? Tax clearance? Tax clearance?
That's what we did. Moses, that's what we did. And hear from George on this one, George.
Saba.
Yeah, okay, Mr.
Hello.
Cody. Yeah, Mr. Cody.
Yeah, okay. I partly agree with Mr. Sandy. When I say partly, I agree with him one, and one I don't agree.
Okay.
If you said that, yeah, if you said that media institutions are businesses, you make a business, you make your money, and when you make money, you got to pay taxes to government. So, in order for you to receive payment, you must show a tax clearance. Yes, you must. But on the other side of the free publicity for the government, I don't agree with that. No way. You must pay the institutions so that they can live and pay their bills. How can you expect a media institution to pay her bills and pay her employees, or even run their radio by buying fuel and papers for the newspaper, and you say they must run your programs free? I disagree with that. But on the issue of tax clearance, I agree with that. Once you run a business, you must pay taxes to government. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so I'm a former executive marshal reporter. The requirements at the time at the Daily Observer from the executive marshal was you had to be a reporter. The institution you work for had to write an official letter to the executive marshal assigning you as a correspondent there. And you had to bear the institution's official ID card. Those were the two requirements. Once you met them, you were accepted. So when it comes to the issue of tax clearance comes in when the executive marshal wants to publish advertisements in the newspapers. So the government doesn't want to do business with an institution that is not tax free, it's not tax clear, right? It's
tax
not
compliance.
Tax compliance, right? So the government asks for a tax clearance. But to cover the executive marshal, that's news. That aspect doesn't require police clearance, doesn't require tax clearance. It requires the journalist to go there to do you free publicity, because the executive marshal is a credible source that other key institutions of government are credible sources of news. The executive branch or the executive marshal, the legislature, the judiciary, ministries and agencies of government are credible sources of news. So that's why media institutions assign reporters to those places based on their areas of strength in reporting. Okay. So I don't think, I thought that was, that's what happened. I have not heard this before.
Okay.
I thought it was a mistake.
So with those highlights on the issue of press freedom and freedom of expression and all of that, with those highlights, can we say, Moses, or Mr. Cody or Mr. Masquer, can we say that the government has an enviable press, freedom records, or with all those sort of missteps that were highlighted in the report? Moses, let me hear from you. Moses?
Yes. If what we are reading is true, then I think that Mr. Kuti said the government has to step up to the place. This is not good for the government. Like George said, when I covered the legislature, all it took was a letter from LBS. When we assigned reporters to the executive marshal, all it took was letter. They didn't tell us what you need to give us free publicity. Bring your tax clearances, bring police clearances. When you do stuff when you do things like this, you are strangling the media. And why? You are creating bottleneck for the coverage of the executive. The media is doing what? Free work. They're coming for the news, and you're scrapping them. That's not good for the country. Honestly, it's not good.
Mr. Cody, let's hear from you. Do you think with those highlights, those excesses or missteps by the government that the reports highlighted or flagged, do you think the government still has an enviable freedom of the press records? Do you think the government records is enviable? Can we clap for the government?
I just want to get some clarification here from Mr. Kennedy, even from you. Why is the government asking for police clearance? I want to get that clear. I don't know what to say. because I have already talked about the other two. Number one, if you are a business entity, you must pay taxes, and got to get clearance from you to know that you pay your taxes. But for the government to say come and cover the executive mansion free, I disagree with that. But on the issue of the police clearance, why is the executive mansion asking for police clearance? Maybe you have read the information.
That's why we all are even surprised. Why? Because I don't see any reason for it. I don't see any reason why they should require police clearance. I don't see any reason why they should require tax clearance from reporter. You wouldn't ask the media institution for tax clearance when you want to advertise with that media institution. So even to cover the executive mansion, you don't need to ask them for tax clearance. You don't need to ask the reporter for police clearance. Those are bottlenecks. In my opinion, if that what happened, I think that was a mistake. Yeah.
Okay, but are they actually the individual reporter who has gone to the executive mansion for tax clearance, or the entity from which you come?
No, they don't name. They didn't put a name there, but they only named the press secretary of being involved with that, of asking the journalists, to provide those documents, and as a result, some of the journalists walk out. Editors, it's the editors in the report walk out. So
Yeah.
the report was
Okay. So let me. Yeah, Mr. Koti, let me just provide a little bit of clarification. Yeah, it was a meeting with the press secretary and media executives, editors. So she presented what the executive mansion is asking from the media institution. They want free publicity on the website of the media institution. They're asking for tax clearances. They're asking for police clearances. And honestly, like George said, this is unusual. Many of us who cover government over the years, we did not experience that. And there's no need for that.
Okay. Well, then I think I have the picture. If you are not going to be paying money for somebody to cover your entity, then why are you asking for tax clearance? Because you only ask for tax clearance, like George mentioned, when you are going to pay me for something, because you're going to get paid until you show to me that you are paying taxes to the government. So it's a little confusing. But somehow, I think you have the telephone number for Kula Fofana. If you can place a call to her tonight to help us, it's going to be good. Try and call her. She might pick up your call and clarify.
I think we tried doing that, but okay. Let me try again. We'll try before we enter on the discussion. Let me hear from you, Mr. Masquer.
My answer is simple. Let us start fantasizing or wanting to appease and shut away from the reality. It's a very good thing that some of the panelists and guests here are media professional. This is abnormal. It is strange. It is uncalled for. You say bottlenecks. So here's what I say. It is a calculated attempt to wage war on the media. It is a calculated attempt to handpick and select few people that will report diluted information that appease the regime of the day. So no way to pacify this thing. It is uncalled for. The institution that I work with that will send me and recommend me to go report at the executive mansion, it becomes the moral, civil responsibility and obligation of that media institution to vet my credential, to vet my character. Why will you be asking media people who are professional people for police clearance? My travel imports are criminal. So you see, there is a calculated attack. And let me just justify that again. Do you know that the continuing arrogance of the Unity Party believing that the media is not media? You know why? Because they have class below there. That's the bottom line of the issue.
Okay, let me hold you there. Mr. Cody, you listen to him. Do you think there's any arrogance being displayed because people do think that they have their own platform? Do you think that?
No, I disagree with Mr. Michael. I disagree with you. I don't think this government has anything to hide. That is why, according to you, they're trying to handpick certain people to only report for them what they want to report. I don't think so. I said you have some examples that you can help us with, because I think this government is open. I have told you my disagreement with the government when it comes to number one, asking journalists or media institutions to publish or do your their publication for you free. No, and I don't see where you can say. You want to give us some proof as to where
Yes.
you think they tried to do something?
Yeah. So when the press secretary, and because I don't want to go far away from the executive mansion, when the press secretary was involved into receiving 18,000 United States dollars, wherein press reporters at the executive mansion alleged that she only gave them 6,000.
I think we're not going to dwell on that. I come here.
Allegation.
We're not going to dwell on
Yeah.
that. It's,
So,
we have no facts concerning that, so we're not going to go into that.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to read a portion of the report on so that we can just do away with the issue of the media on the issue of arbitrary arrests. I'm trying to find that out quickly. I was there a few minutes ago.
Especially the area that has to do with
yes,
restriction on freedom.
Okay, fine. Prolonged detention without charges. Again, Mr. Cody, this is another. I call it a damaging report for the whole justice sector. The Constitution and law prohibited arbitrary arrest and detention and provided for the right of any person to challenge the lawfulness of their arrest or detention in courts. The government did not always observe these prohibitions and rights. Again, that's what the report said. The government did not always observe these prohibitions and rights. In general, the law required the police to have warrants issued by a magistrate to make arrests. The law allowed for arrests without a warrant if the necessary paperwork was filed immediately afterwards for review by the appropriate authority. But arrests often were made without judicial authorizations, and warrants were sometimes issued without sufficient evidence. Mr. Cody, you hear that again?
I hear that again, and I'm sure the U.S. government or the entity that wrote the report has some instances that they may have mentioned in there. And if you can read for us some examples or instances they gave, I'll be very happy.
Okay, let me read this one. They quoted the National Commission on Human Rights of Liberia. According to the National Commission on Human Rights of Liberia, detainees' access to hearing before a judge sometimes depends on whether there was a functioning court or available transportation. INCHR further stated some courts occasionally lack both a prosecutor and a public defender, and the magistrate judge proceeded without them. Additionally, some magistrates solicited money from complainants to transport the accused or convict to and from detention. Detainees had the right to prompt access to counsel, and if indigent, and Anthony was provided by the state in criminal cases. Now, Mr. Cody, the issue is the report is indicating that people are placed behind bars for a long period, and there's absolutely no opportunity to go to court. In fact, trial dates are not known, and they are just the language behind bars at the Monrovia Central Prison. There's no trial dates.
Yes, that is true. I have seen it myself. In fact, there's a lawyer, and I think he's called Mr. Dent. He appeared on my program 1 or 2 times. He's a human rights lawyer who is going out from court to court. trying to see who has been there beyond the normal time, to see how they can get them to court, to have the dates in court. Those things are happening. And that's all I wanted, the instances, the proof. And once the government, the U.S. government has given the instances, then that's enough. Then it is wrong and it must stop. Oh yeah, you can't have people in court beyond the normal time. They must go and exonerate themselves. So I'm not going to argue about that. I know that those things happen. And even the one they mentioned about asking the defendant for money for their own case. I mean, you can't do that. These things happen. It is, if it is still happening, it is a wake-up call, and something must be done about it.
Okay, so gentlemen, let me throw this general question, and I'm sure my panelists also will join in to answer. Let me begin with Moses, and then come to Mr. Forty and David and George. These sort of reports that are written about the performance of the country, especially with what we are reading concerning our country, the issue of arbitrary arrest, the issue of our poor performance in the press freedom and freedom of expression and all of that, the sacking of 9 individuals from the MCC because they were on social media trying to criticize the government. Now, what comes to your mind, let me begin with you, Mr. Sandy. How does it affect the image of the country and on the overall affect our opportunity to get international support? How does it affect the image of the country? Looking at poor judicial system, looking at the issue of press freedom not being withheld. How does it? Let me begin with you, Mr. Sandy.
Sober, Liberia, like any other country the world over, is not a perfect society because there's none.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have these kind of reports, this kind of human rights reports that speaking to some of the terrible things that are happening in the country, can you imagine someone being terminated on the allegation of making a post on social media, which violates the person's right? If the person did that while the person was at home, that puts a dent in the image of the country human rights record. And if you're going to qualify for international funding, these are things that they look at. Are you respecting the rights of people? Are you breaking the laws of the country with impunity? The report talks about arbitrary arrest and detention, prolonged detention of people. The Constitution of Liberia and the laws of the country prohibit that. However, these things are happening with impunity. As I speak to you, I have a case in Liberia, and people tell me, to provide money for someone I have filed a claim against, but because the person is indigent, I have to provide the funding for that. That just sounds preposterous, very stupid, But that's the kind of system we have. People have cases in the country, they don't even know when their cases are arraigned for hearing. So I hope this will be a wake-up call for our government, like Mr. Coty said earlier, so they can begin to take some of these corrective actions. Justice is supposed to be what? Speedy. If justice is not speedy, then justice is denied. That would be my input.
Okay. Let's hear from you, Mr. Masako, on this one.
So that's my answer. Quite recently we were all having conversation about the MCC compact. But let me just remind you about key indicators and sectors that the government failed. The government failed the rule of law, and the government failed fiscal policy, the government failed trade policy, the government also failed ineffective governance, the government failed in health, the government failed in education, the government failed in child rights. So with this human rights reports, it means Liberia hope of getting the MCC compact is at stake if the government cannot learn and change immediately, effectively. I do agree that this
is a wake-up call. But I think it is not a wake-up call. All of the components embedded within this particular report, these were realities that we have been talking. I told someone already, we need to graduate from this, we need to graduate from the way of living that we need a stranger to come and tell me that I'm hungry. That is an inherent contradiction.
Okay, we'll hold you there quickly. Let me come to you, George, before I can go to Mr. Court.
Saba, this thing is a long...
And the question is, how does it affect our country?
Negatively. Okay. Negatively. And it is an inherent problem in Liberia's political history since the 80s. This report, if you compare to the report from 1980 up to now, that particular component about the rights of journalists, pre-trial detention, arbitrary arrest, repeats itself. So it shows that as a country we have to change. Okay, we have to change. The United States government has a serious policy on these things. Even though they are not a perfect society, but the place they spend their taxpayers' money, they want to make sure that the society should not be. They're not expecting a perfect society, but they expect you to have to deal with certain things easily, such as pre-trial detention. I have always said here, when it comes to the judicial issue, I always call for judicial reform. In the United States, when watching CNN, when there is a crime committed, the people will tell you, George will say how many weeks it will take to adjudicate the case, and the weeks will not pass. If there is any issue that he faced where he has ended by 1 week, he will announce it before the public will know. But in Liberia, nothing. All cases to that court will stay there for the longest, and the people say they're going for a break. They start both criminal and civil cases. They are just dead, and people are in prison. I think we should look at judicial reform seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we go to Mr. Cody, I've been trying to get in touch with in fact, ever since Kula Fufana, because our name was flagged in the report, but unfortunately, she's not picking up. I just again tried, but she's not picking up. Apparently, she has her own reason. But Mr. Cody, let me put this question to you that your other colleagues were answering. With these sort of reports coming up, coming out and damning our country, and how do they affect our country in terms of our relationship with our international donors and all of that?
No, some person is going to say this is a good thing that will be good for the country. It's a damaging report. And the reason why I keep saying it's a wake-up call, we should see this wrong as something that we should correct. It is not something to back and keep protecting. I said from the beginning that the U.S. government has nothing in particular against this government to say we want to see them down, or we don't want this president or government or party to be re-elected, so we make them look ugly. No, they know what they're talking about. And I can tell you, those people over there know more about this place than even ourselves. So no need to argue too much. I mean, no, some person said this is a good thing. It is a damaging thing for the country. If all of them are correct. I haven't seen the details of the report yet, but from what you read it tonight, I think we should work on it. This is what I mean by wake-up call. It's not that we're backing anything. We should change.
Okay. Again, listeners and viewers, kind of share the show. We are streaming live on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. That's the Nighttime Heat YouTube channel and Facebook page. Yes, tap in Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show, and you also share the show. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, gentlemen, just yesterday, a story has been trending on social media, and when it went viral. Let me just read you what I have. Bank shareholder reportedly declared wanted by Interpol and Ghana for corruption. Abbey Bank former CEO, now Liberia's CBL governor, allegedly also linked. let's read the story. Investigations revealed that we're trying to get the story back. We're trying to upload it. Investigation revealed that Abbey Bank shareholder and former Ghanaian finance minister 2016 to 2025 Ken Ofori-Atta is reportedly wanted by the government of Ghana to answer to corruption charges in excess of $100 million US, including spending over $50 million on a national cathedral project that was never built. An international Interpol alert currently on Interpol's website has been issued, alerting all airports to ensure Mr. Ofori-Atta is arrested on site at any airport and returned to Ghana to answer to several charges of corruption. The former finance minister is wanted to answer to charges that show the misuse of taxpayer funds for his personal benefits. Mr. Ofori-Atta has been a shareholder at Abbey Bank, Liberia, for over 15 years, in which time he also served as Minister of Finance in Ghana for 8 years. He allegedly used his influence to have his former CEO at Abbey Bank, Henry Samoa, appointed CBL governor in Liberia. It is alleged that Ken Atta authorized contracts between the government of Ghana and his personal companies to benefit himself and his family. One such instance include Data Bank Ghana, his personal firm he started years ago. Now, gentlemen, the question is, and let me hear from you, Moses. According to this report, let's assume it's true, and the Atta was wanted by Interpol is a shareholder of Abbey Bank. How does it link to the current CBL governor? Yes, we know he was then the CEO at the bank, but a shareholder, committed a crime in his country, Ghana. How does it, link to a man who was a former, CEO of a bank that he was shareholder in, and the man is no longer a shareholder? He's now a central bank governor of another country. How does it link? How does it link to that? Moses, let me hear from you.
Look, just coming from the standpoint of good governance, you have the bank governor having been linked to an individual who allegedly has a criminal past or who is currently being haunted as a result of reported crime committed. It raises a lot of concern, someone wanting to come to Liberia to do business. We say, but the central bank governor is a former employee of this gentleman. They have a relationship. How can I go to a country like Liberia and invest millions of dollars when you have a central bank governor that has a reported link with someone who is currently on the run from acts committed, allegedly committed? So it raises a lot of concern, even though right now the bank governor, is not reporting to this man, but just for the fact of that relationship, it creates integrity problem. That's how I see it. I may be wrong, but I think it raises a lot of questions about integrity.
Okay, let's hear from Mr. Cody. Mr. Cody, okay, he's off. Let's hear from you, Mr. Fode. Masco.
So, firstly, when Honorable Henry Samoa was appointed, some of us believe that it wasn't a good decision. Why? He is a nephew to the current president. It is also a fact
very evidential.
Which is not a problem. I mean, being a nephew to the current president, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that.
It might not be wrong on the book, but we have had this argument and conversation about nepotism, where your brother, your relative, at times you might want to do it from the way.
If the relative, and this is where I have problem, Moses. If the relative, is qualified and competent, should I deny that relative the opportunity to serve because he's my relative or she's my relative?
So that is another argument.
Yes,
so that is another argument.
Except
you might be right
to except that relative is not qualified or that relative is not competent. Then I take the relative and place them in a position of trust. Yes,
quickly, Lord, let me just provide my insight on this subject matter. This is where people in leadership, take for example, I cannot supervise my wife. That's going to create a conflict of interest. If my wife is one of my supervisors, if my wife becomes one of my supervisors, even if my wife does something right and I elevate her, other people in the company will say he did it because that's his wife. When my wife does something wrong, when I take punitive action, people will say, oh, well, in fact, my wife's family will say, but he was being mean to his wife. So now you have a divided interest. That's what they say, conflict of interest. In this particular situation, like what Mr. Masiko is talking about, the president of the Republic of Liberia is the supervisor, the direct supervisor of the bank governor. Even though you have a board of directors and all these people, the person who makes that decision whether that man can stay on that job or not is the president of the Republic of Liberia. That's why the law says what? He cannot supervise a family member. The president cannot supervise the Minister of Internal Affairs who having to be the cousin, his cousin, because he have a blood relationship. His interest is divided. The Minister of Education who having to be his niece. You see, these are the ethical things that people are talking about. In most
Moses, we've gone off tangent. Yeah. The question I'm asking.
Yes.
No, our father explaining. Yeah.
The question I'm asking, Moses. Let me come to George. I come to George.
I'm not making my point. You asked me on the connection between.
Okay, continue, and then I come to George.
So, to the issue, the connection between our central bank governor and the former finance minister, Honorable King Ofori-Atta, is this. Apart from being the shareholder of the International RB Bank, do you know that his daughter, Oyima Ofori-Atta, is currently on the board in Liberia? The RB Bank removed her name last name, Nicodemus Lee, but we already have that. And yes, another connection. Do you know, at some part around 2024, there was a 20 million that was printed for Liberia, and the money was sent in the vote of Ghana.
So let me know before you go further. Yeah. If you said Atta's daughter was on the board, and do you have the facts? Do you have anything that I can look at to give it credence? So because it's not just about talking, we must be able to provide.
It's actually on the website. It was actually on the website of the RB Bank in Liberia. It was just removed. The screenshots are available. I'll show you the screenshot very soon. But let me just lay on the thought. Can you remember when a 20 million that the claim was from Liberia, when the lawmaker of Ghana, lawmaker Samuel Okoziti Abakwi, he said that why is Liberia money doing in the vote of Ghana, but all the documentation show that the money is for the Ghanaian government, and the central bank governor of Ghana admitted and said no, and the money is actually for Liberia, but we just put it in Ghana. You know what the president did? The president immediately suspended and that Ghanaian central bank governor is currently under investigation. He's not working. Unlike in Liberia, what happened to that 20 million? Nobody is here to know.
Okay. The question I asked, and he's trying to still dodge it and circumvent it. Let me come to George. George, we this story has been trending concerning the shareholder in the Abbey Bank, who was then former Minister of Finance, who's now currently wanted, Ken Ofori-Atta, who is currently wanted by Interpol. How does it link to our CBL governor? Granted, maybe our CBL governor, granted, it's not maybe, but granted, he was the CEO of Abbey Bank, but a shareholder who has committed a crime in his country, and currently he's not, the CEO anymore. He's the central bank of another country. How is he linked to that?
The story is a small screen. It's intended to throw den at the governor. Yeah, okay. I'm a journalist. Yeah, Samoa. I'm a journalist. I know Ken very well. I know his sister Nanaya Ofori-Atta, who was a communication specialist for the International Finance Corporation, the private sector arm of the World Bank. We worked together in Monrovia here for a long time. They are the royal family. If anybody who go do research on their that doesn't mean that they are worthy, but they are royal family in Ghana. So a shareholder in the bank is not accepted by it's not approved by the CEO of the bank. It's accepted by the board of trustees of the bank. So the CEO as Secretary General of the bank, of the board, definitely your work is to accept and log that person and as approved by the board of trustees of that bank. And can whatever crime he might have committed in Ghana, and if all his family be here, representing his interest as shareholder, and the Ghanaian government accusing him of crime and probably sending representation to Liberia that this particular share of this person should be on hold, and removing that name doesn't mean any crime for that the current central bank governor made. That's why sometimes when you're reporting, you need to understand the issue. This is a small screen intended to cast den on the character of Mr. Samoa until I can see further information. But I don't think he committed any crime there. I know him very well, Mr. Samoa. I've been knowing him for more than 12, 13, 14 years. And I started knowing Ken, I think, since 2009, 2010, 2011. In fact, for almost 20 years, I've been knowing Mr. Samoa. Anybody who knows in this country will say, even to just even disrespect or act pompous or proud before anybody, you will say that not Samoa.
I think I would disagree with you, Mr. Segal. I would disagree with you. Because in the information report you are reading, and the report is saying that just 3 weeks ago, a 24-feet container with gold and other money belonging to Ofori-Atta was headed for Liberia.
So what does that mean?
And at the end of the day, the story is saying that the Liberia Custom Commissioner, who is a brother to Henry Samoa, was the one who was to allow this particular container to come in this country until they were intercepted by the Ghanaian police and arrested. The container was headed for Liberia.
So where is the source of your story? Who published your story?
It's on the internet here.
Where's the internet?
And so Morning Ghana, a reputable institution in Ghana, and they published the story also.
So I'm saying to you here that what you're saying here is not a direct link, it's speculation. They say, shoot, the person who's supposed to receive this. No, let me say this. How it come and it's proving, or documentation showing that it's proving. This is speculation.
But the Ghanaian government is saying that our central bank governor is a person of interest. Is that all? Is the Ghanaian government? The Ghanaian government is calling
For what?
Because he was CEO and this man is shareholder and they share a 15-year working relationship together. I don't know how. Please let me read and come to Mr. Koti. Mr. Koti.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
the
question. Fine.
Mr. Koti is there.
The question is. The story we are talking about, it has to do with the Abbey Bank.
a shareholder in the Abbey Bank who was then former finance minister in Ghana. He's being wanted by Interpol. He's one Ken Ofori-Atta. But there's the report, media report, linking our CBL governor, because then our CBL governor was then the CEO of Abbey Bank, and he and the man had some 15 years of working relationship. Now, if a shareholder committed a crime in his country, how does it link the CBL governor of another country?
That's the question I want to get myself. That's the answer I want to get myself. Look, I could not agree with Mr. Kennedy more on this matter. Look, I'm confused here. I'm listening to Mr. Massaquoi trying to read something from the internet, and I think he needs to share that with us so that we can read it too. But I don't see the relationship. Now, if there was a crime committed here in Liberia, or maybe in Ghana, as it is being stated, and our central bank governor was part of it, that's a different thing. But to say because he was the CEO of the IB Bank, so for that reason, he's implicated, I'm confused here. I need some answers. And like Mr. Kennedy mentioned, it is not the CEO of the bank that will approve somebody being a shareholder. This is a team, a board that has to agree to it. So instead of saying the board, Mr. Samoa should be linked, let them just have the entire board of the IB Bank linked. If that's the case, the entire board of the IB Bank, because it's not a one man's decision. No, not one person who would decide whether somebody is a shareholder of a bank or not. What we need to do now is to go further to see whether there was any transaction between the former finance minister of Ghana and our central bank governor. Whether there were any transaction between the both of them concerning money stolen from Ghana and here, our central bank governor. So we need to know that. But to just say because the man was the CEO of the bank, that this man was a shareholder of, that's not enough. We need to have more proof.
Again, in addition to what you've said, the two individuals may have a long-standing relationship, 15 years that they work together. But this man, who was the former finance minister in Ghana, was a shareholder. If, let's assume, he's being wanted by Interpol, he did something at the time, how does it involve our central bank governor?
So I will ask Mr. Samoa had Mr. Ofori-Atta sold his share to Mr. Samoa.
Okay.
I will ask him as a former business and economic reporter. I will ask him. I will look at the time of the transaction, in fact, before I will ask him. But looking at this, until I can get further information, it's a small screen. It's intended to get them the camera. Look, I will come clear. I have known Mr. Samoa for almost 16, 17 years, 18 years or something. And I know Ken Ofori-Atta since 2019. Listen, I told you they are from royal family. His sister and I, Nanaya Ofori-Atta, said she was a communication specialist of the International Finance Corporation, the private sector arm of the World Bank. We worked here in Monrovia for more than 5 years together. The late Zoga James, the late Horatio Willie, the late Timothy Cyclone, we all work together. Today, though S.K. Davis is alive, we work together. These are people who we know.
So it's clear that the story just intended to put
have a link because he was CEO and then was shareholder.
No.
Yes.
No.
That's why I'm looking at it for now.
Mr. Mutasendi, we cannot be running such an opinion because we want to perceive that you know the person. Don't tell me that the Ghanaian government is insensitive or the Ghanaian government hit a particular individual that will be investigating 100 million and you say it's just a small screen. I think that's not fair.
Okay.
And the people in Ghana know what they are doing.
Okay.
I think what we should be talking is we should be giving.
They should get a transaction report.
I think we should be giving the chance.
Let the Ghanaian government.
Allow the Ghanaian government to see.
To read this transaction report between the two.
What is the linkage
Yeah, that's it.
And the connection between the CEO of the IBM for over 15 years in the relationship.
That's what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Until then,
Yeah, but we should not just consider it to be a smoke screen. It's not.
For now,
for investigation can
be 1 billion. It can be 1 trillion. I'm saying.
So gentlemen, Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Massaquoi, this is what I would like to say quickly. Mr. Massaquoi, Mr. Kennedy has the right to his opinion. He says this is a smoke screen that requires further investigation, and I agree. This matter needs a further probe. What I would like to say is that yeah, it is true that Mr. Kennedy, you know, or you have known Mr. Samoa for many years, and the accused, you also have a long-standing relationship. I would say that what we need is a further probe of this matter.
Sure.
Yeah, a further probe. And a further probe will determine whether something wrong happened or not. Right, Mr. Cody?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like Mr. Kennedy just mentioned something about transaction report. Financial, we need that. That's what you mean, Mr. Says. Further, information. You can't just talk about relationship or being a member of the board. No, let's get some further information.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's transition because we have to open the lines quickly. Let's transition for a few minutes to this issue. Again, today we saw that the court, I was just trying to upload this information. The court has ordered the eviction of the Congress for Democratic Change from its headquarters. It's finally done. It's sealed that the CDC should be losing its headquarters any moment. In fact, the court instructed the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police to evict the CDC from its headquarters. Let me hear from you, Mr. David Cody. Let's begin with you on this one. Well, what do you think?
I think this is a lesson to all political parties in Liberia, a big lesson to all of us. And I think Musa Bedete is trying to change that. I heard him the other day saying that they're trying to build their own headquarters. It is a shame and a disgrace. A similar thing happened to the PUL of Liberia. The PUL has been in one tight place right on Clay Street there for more than 30 years. They started doing something that they haven't completed. No political party, even when it comes to football in this country, is another disgrace. Can you imagine IE was founded on May 10, 1943. They cannot show you one lot of land to say this is our own place, or one zinc shack to say this is our office. Barrow was founded in 1956, March 9. They can show you one zinc shack to say this is our own place on our own. The same thing comes to political parties. It is a disgrace and a shame. So our political parties, it happened to Unity Party. But the good thing Unity Party did was to just pack up and leave. But to be forced out, oh no, this is a disgrace. I think what they need to do is to arrange this thing in a way that they don't be forced to leave, but just leave and find a new place. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear from you. You think it's a disgrace for your party?
Well, I think that is a political interpretation of people who wants to actually find a moral equivalence, because the Unity Party was taken out of their headquarters on 4 different occasions, so it should happen to the CDC. So let me inform the people. There's not a single thing here. Unity Party was founded in 1984. That is over 23 to 24 years before the existence of CDC in 2005. Mind you, since 2005, the CDC has maintained its party headquarters for over 20 years. It tells you that CDC is a mature party, it is a serious party that have maintained her party headquarters. So the situation now is more political than legal.
You've been paying your rent?
When the citizen have
So
been paying
yes.
the
No, you see,
the citizen have
you
been
owe
paying
more than no. You can't boast of maintaining. You can't boast of maintaining when you have not been paying rent. Your leader, I bet you, my leader, one there, man.
No, we were not leaving. You know why we're not leaving? Because the citizen have maintained the party headquarters for the last 20 years. Only United Party that have never maintained any structure for even 10 years. So it's not the same. The CDC is not yet updated. A sacred code is a lower code. Honor the doctrine of jurisprudence.
Please mute your. You can't mute your microphone.
As a matter of fact, the lawyers of the CDC are doing everything possible to file an appeal to the Supreme Court. Because here's what happening. The CDC is not refusing for negotiating with the family. As a matter of fact, the CDC have been dealing with the Banas family. Unfortunately, another Desktop family coming now. So there's a very embarrassing situation. Two family fighting, and CDC is a victim of a family friend. So CDC is not shying away from buying the property. We want to buy the property. We have been negotiating consistently with the family. We have the money. We want to buy it. But the family said, no, I will not sell to you. Because people believe in United Party. Some people believe saying United Party will put it out of way. So this is not the scene. The CDC has maintained 8 party headquarters for 20 years. Can we say something about United Party? 41 years United Party have been operating. No party headquarters. You cannot say that for CDC.
So let me ask you now. What it will cost the CDC if to just do away with the noise and do away with all of the negative perception against the party, just find a new place to move.
So the answer to that is, who is creating the noise? Who is creating the noise?
The refusal of the CDC to remove people to leave is causing the noise.
People like George, the CDC has never refused to move from its party headquarters. Like I said, I have been your tenants for over 20 years. I've been doing business with Mr. Sober George, right? Mr. Daniel Colley, who is a brother to Sober George, now come and say the property belongs to him. And the court says that. So CDC is in a quandrum of ending a 20-year relationship to establish another relationship with another man. CDC doesn't go for anywhere, and this man is refusing. So in essence, the CDC are always demonstrated that we are a party of peace and stability and believe in the doctrines and the tenets of democracy. I was telling I said consistently, CDC is not a structure. CDC lives in the minds and the hearts of the ordinary people. So people are saying, the CDC will not create any noise. Okay. Without a short justice. Okay. You know what happened? You know what happened? You cannot treat a tenant who have been consistently paying your money, who have been doing business for 25 years, and just no.
Okay, let's hold it there. Let's hold it there. Mr. Kennedy, this issue with the Congress for Democratic Change has been ongoing for some time now. How do you think this can be resolved? Should the CDC find somewhere and just leave them?
Yes, Mr. Massapoy and the CDC. You can stay somewhere for 50 years. Rental lease agreements. When the property owner wants you out and the code rules, you have to go.
This person have their owner for 20 years.
Excuse
me. Let the man land there, please.
I said you can be there for 20, 30 because you're trying to stress that you stay there longer, you are a good tenant, this and that. Who determines that? It is the property owner.
You said they are just a victim of family fight.
I mean, you are not a victim. You were there when the case went to the Supreme Court. The Bernard family, this individual won the case. The Supreme Court is not going to say any other thing. The Supreme Court is going to going to mandate the lower court to enforce the evasion. When that issue happened to the United Party, when the McLean family went to the court, some of us were there taking their leave. They left in the night to avoid disgrace. They packed their things out in the night. You know who was mocking them? All on Facebook? Carrasco.
So
Carrasco to the presidency. I forgot about his membership to CDC. That was direct link to the presidency. This time, nobody up there closer to the presidency talking before he said, oh, the United Party or the president wants to do this. So that time you are going live. People who say they can win the election, look at they can't even pay that rent, they can't do this. So they say in the world, what goes around
comes around.
Mr. Cote was very right. We have political institutions, soccer institutions, big institutions here. They depend on renting properties to live there because that in fact does not make them credible enough. It's good for you to own your own facility.
Yeah.
You own your own facility, you can expand it, you can use it any kind of way you want to use it. What make us in this country we don't want to institutionalize our political and other social institutions? Why don't we do that? I mean, the CDC, United Party and CDC case, it's a disgrace to the country because they both became ruling parties.
And Mr. Masterquai, Mr. Masterquai,
yeah. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Cody.
Mr. Masterquai, I don't think you should keep repeating what you're saying. That it's a shame on you. You know, it's like you are telling us that when you stay on somebody's land for 50 years and you don't have a deed, then the land belongs to you. No. This is a big disgrace. I beg you, don't keep repeating this thing here. I'm sure one of your partisans will soon call your thing back. Stop. You are embarrassing us further. We've been there for 30 years. You've been there for 30 years. It does not belong to you. Leave. Please go.
No. The question is,
the solution is all of it. Not only CDC, Unity Party, whoever, please find your own places and build your own homes. Mr. Kennedy just mentioned it doesn't show that we are responsible political parties. It's a shame. A former ruling party, I beg you, man, lead the other one there, please.
So do you think, Moses, what is obtaining now that what happened to Unity Party is now happening to the CDC? CDC will shortly lose its party headquarters. Do you think the Labour Post still need to entrust them with that votes when they cannot exercise that sort of responsibility? Moses, I'm speaking with you.
Our society is very unpredictable. So I don't want to someone explain. Is that your thing? There's noise in the background.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So what I wanted to say here is that, like Mr. Coty and Mr. Kennedy said, this is shameful. This is embarrassing. And I hope Mr. Masekwa is here. When you refer to yourself as a responsible adult, that comes with a lot. Let me provide some counseling for you. When you say you're responsible, it means that you take ownership of decisions that you make. You pay your bills. You don't blame people for your problems. When you have a problem, you find solution to the problem. So the whole thing about the CDC running to court back and forth, that's not going to help. You sign a legal instrument. You sign a lease. You defaulted. You have not made your payment consistently. The family chose to go to court. The most appropriate thing you can do for your own integrity, your own image, walk away. Find another solution. former President Weah has 49 condominiums. You can ask the man, look, my man, can we just start our, office equipment, other stuff here for a while we try to get this together? Demonstrate that responsibility that you spoke about. Oh, this is politically motivated. No, that argument doesn't cut it. The UP were in similar situation. What did the UP do? UP walk away. That's all you can do.
So,
Let me use this as a graphic example. I have lived in my property for 19 years. I pay mortgage every month, right? That is a 30 years mortgage. So in 3 months, if I don't pay my mortgage, I will start getting notifications in the mail. And if that continues, the bank can go to court and file for foreclosure. I can lose my property. I can say, oh, well, my enter is the one who is behind this. When you sign a lease agreement, if you're not paying your rent as needed, you can be evicted. So the whole thing about CDC running here and there, the most appropriate thing, my brother, you guys need to leave. Don't make this a public drama. Thank you.
0778 460 793. Let's take a few calls. 0778 460 793. That's the number to call. Or better still, 0886 540 987. Again, better still, 0886 0778 460 793 or 0886 540 987. Let's take the first call on the line quickly. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, people of Sawa.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you quickly.
People of Sawa, I'm Emmanuel Daly, joining again from the township of West for the second time.
Okay.
I want to speak to that two issues tonight on the talking point, or the issue of the human rights report and that of the evasion of CDC from the party.
Go right ahead.
The issue of the human rights report for me, in government, I will give that blame to two persons: the police inspector general, Gregory Cuomo, and that of the justice minister. I hold the both of them responsible for the bad record coming out from the Identical report. One, when you look at the injustice situation, a lot of errors come from the police inspector general. The justice minister that was to supervise the police director. He sat down and he knows the law. There's a law professor, for God's sake. For God's sake. Look at the issue of the Capitol building. Police moved in there and spray lawmaker. Look at the issue of the arrest that have to do with that Guinea National. The main lawyer or Councilor Janet alleged that the man was torture in prison. He was taking NSA cell. All these kind of allegations, these things are going on in the country. It's not fair. And the justice minister says there, who have constitutional responsibility, who also to the state, he says there as if to say nothing going on into the country. He knows all of these problems.
Okay.
They see the report that coming on the country. And lastly, as it relates to the invasion of CDC from their party headquarters. Sometimes when people say illusions are true, I think my illusions today have proven me right. I always have the belief that political party in that period, one of our guidelines towards our electoral law is that they should own a property before they even register to the National Election Commission. I think it should be one of our major law in the country that will help and that will also reduce the proliferation of political party in the country.
Okay. Many thanks. 0778 460 793. That's the number to call. 0778 460 793. Better still, 0886 540 987. 0886 540 987. That's the number to call. And then you are live on the show tonight. 0778 460 793. Again, 0778 460 793. Or better still, 0886 540 987. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the program. We've been discussing talking about the CDC, eviction. We've been talking about a couple of things, the latest U.S. Human Rights Report, and all of that. Let's hear from this caller quickly. Good evening.
How you doing, sir?
I'm okay. Let's hear from you.
Okay, this is Damwe A. Damwe.
Okay.
I want to talk of two issues. One, the issue of the former finance minister at Ghana and our President Central Bank governor. And I heard Mr. Masakwa and Koti saying and making some statements in there. You see, the central bank is regulated by a board of directors. But the board of directors, they are directly supervised by the president. Mr. Samoa, who was then the executive director for IB, personally serving the central bank, he has a direct contact to the board of directors because he's a secretary by law. So they will not tell me or tell the Liberian people that Samoa has no idea or no take in the shareholders' decision or the board of directors accepting shareholders to come into the bank. No. All of us went to school. We know. The secretary of a board is the governor of the bank and is the minister of a ministry. Everybody knows that. So you will not tell me that Samoa is completely out of what the then finance minister of Ghana did.
Okay.
One. Two, you will not say political parties are not paying headquarters. He, Mr. Koti, he headed the Invisible 11 for years. And now he's sitting in studio or out of studio saying that Invisible 11 doesn't have a headquarters, having 40, 50 years experience. You see, we look at our big brothers when they are saying things. I mean, some of us, it baffles us to hear Masakwa talking such a thing and Koti saying such a thing. I mean, look, oh my God, Liberia, we have to, I don't want to say what we are doing. All of us listening. What they are saying, we are calculating. We're listening to them and see what they are saying in studio. It doesn't represent our country. No.
Okay.
That Masakwa man is backing or Samoa. Because of what? I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yes, Maurice Gable. I call from GMB and JKK for Better Liberia Foundation.
Okay. Let's hear from you.
I take on the issue of the CDC headquarters saga and the human rights report. Firstly, let me say the State Department report, from my standpoint, I think is a welcoming news that we should accept the report as a conduct in progress in terms of respecting human rights, serving on the Security Council. It should be received by this government. GMB should receive it and work on it and improve on it, and then so that Liberia can be among that committee of nations that respect the rule of laws and respect for human rights. On the issue of the CDC headquarters, it is very simple and disgraceful. To build an institution is good than to build an individual. That is why affecting the CDC. What happened to the dollar rallies that were popularized here since 2005 up to now? Look, let me just speak to the minds of CDC who are listening here. What is happening to what you people are giving to CDC? What is the result people are getting from there? It's just clearly indicating that the CDC losing our headquarters speaks volume that corruption is deeply rooted into the party, and evidence by Molu, evidence to allow that Joshua, take a lot of things onto himself and feel like no one should benefit. And there are a lot of level-headed people in the CDC that want to elevate that party. But once the still surrounding George Weah and Akara is running around insulting the colleagues, DCC will lay down flat in the grave and will never return into the political landscape of Liberia. Thank you very much.
Many thanks. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-540-987. We've been talking about the latest U.S. Human Rights Report. What is it that, for Liberia? We've also been talking about the RB story, election involving the CBL governor, and then also the eviction of the Congress for Democratic Change. Those are the discussions we've been having tonight. So we want to hear from you. What do you think? 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better still, 0886-540-987. Again, 0886-540-987. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the Nighttime Heat. Want to share the show? Share the show. Wherever you are, you're watching live, share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also be on top of what is happening tonight on the Nighttime Heat. Again, 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-540-987. But in the meantime, Moses, let me hear from you all concerning your reaction to some of the callers. Moses?
Yeah, I think this was indeed a great show, and the views expressed by the callers, the views were balanced. I don't have any problem with some of the views that were expressed. I think there was indeed a great show, and everything we say, we hope that our political leaders will consider some of the things that were discussed, especially those in government. That would be my comment.
Okay, thank you, Saba. Let me come in. Saba?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right, to the first caller, maybe you didn't get me clearly. We say the same thing. You talk about me being a leader of RA and this, that. Look, let me make something clear to you. I don't know of any organization where the head of that organization is the main decision maker of that organization. I don't know about that. When I was chairman of the All Liberian Coalition Party from 1997 up to 2003, I remember I had a...
Let me take this call. Mr. Cody, quickly, let me take this call. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. George.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you quickly.
Let me say good evening to your panelists.
Okay.
Let me say thanks to you for the conversation in your panel. Mani Ali formula and point from one generation. Mr. George, we commend the U.S. State Department report and calling on our government to take that report very serious to where we're able to see our best to improve the article, the human rights sector of our country. So we will not downplay it. We will not say, oh la la, we're mentioning somewhere that been happening. But talking about the CDC invasion, you see, sometimes I hear of the other, oh, you little party. I mean, I always say this, anytime you're waiting for somebody, you must always get in the back of your mind that that particular place is not for you. You can be removed any minute, any hour, any second. It is not how long, but it's how well. So you get visual because you spend 20 years, 50 years, so you see, you need party because you need party know that for that. Now I'm doing it. You not nobody here anymore. We took our team for that over. But when they have for the movement to that place, it makes all of teaching the whole world on dollar. Oh, they want to see this. Oh, do this. They will do that. They play not for you. It is not for you. They see when the last time you took the party here, color like you know, you say that over 20 years. Who tell you? It is out there for that play before they went to Nash Street. The Joey play on Nash Street. If you not know, maybe for you, George CDC, you can check the record. You can say the party here, color from there. Joey say you can play on Nash Street. You're carrying there. If we're looking at the public, or CDC, they that. Don't leave the people play and then I play what is there. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's take this caller quickly. Good evening. Good evening.
evening.
Yes, let's hear from you.
Mr. Forever George.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Yes, okay. Let me say good evening to Mr. David Kuti and other panelists abroad. Okay. I'm Ambassador Divan Tiapo, political apostle, and I call from district number 16 to be precise, around the Kawa Road Belt. I think today in our country, there are a series of drama in our play today. But I want two things. There are things that our leaders need to take things for consideration about accepting the fact that they are fair, and then we need to press the restart button to move forward with this country. Like for the report from the U.S. State Department, I think because yesterday we embraced it when it was diminishing under the patriarch regime. We embraced it and then we celebrated it, we did all the things. So now it is our time. And then we need to dig up our working to see that the next report shooting come down back on the nation.
Okay.
So the CDC need to understand that they are not above the law. If there is any action coming from the court, they need to adhere to it to see our best to lead the penalty, because with the information of the rumors statement coming from the country in the leg of Poland, that is saying that they will not be able to leave that place. They're waiting for whosoever that will come to us to remove them. And then it is a complete and problem that they want to create. For how be it, we check the ability of the IG, we know how he's capable of doing those things, and then we will see our best to remove them, and then not by using force, but you will do it in other way. There will be no problem anymore. So I just want to say hats up to you guys, and let God bless the state. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks. Mr. Cody?
Yeah, okay. I'll be very brief now. When I was chairman of ICOP in 2003, in fact, in 1997, there were 13 political parties. And interestingly, there were 13 counties at the time. But in 2003, there were 18 political parties. I happen to have been chair of one of them, ICOP. When the election time came, I wanted us to go to Charles Taylor. The plan was, who do we support? Our head is not here. Alhaji Nkrumah fled the country in 1997. So we were thinking about where to go. I said Charles Taylor. Some people said no. They said I wanted to go to different, I thought another person. But I still said to them, Charles Taylor was going to be the best one to go to. But it was a decision by the executive committee and not me. Though I was the chairman of the party, where was a decision by the group. Even in Ghana, I remember before I signed that piece of card on behalf of the party, I consulted the executive committee on the ground here in Monrovia. I could not do anything on my own. So for that first fellow to say that when you are secretary of the board or when you are president of the board, you are the one that can supervise the board, that's not true. No way. It is not the head of the group that can supervise the group. It is that executive committee that will tell you the direction, even though you are there to direct the entire system, but they will have the final decision. So that's the only point I wanted to make here to the first caller. It also happened in the case of. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Masuka, quickly.
So I want to say this. The Human Rights Report 2024 is very damaging. It is a message. It's extremely damaging. It is a message that the MCC compact might be far from reality because, mind you, extrajudicial killing. We witnessed the death of Little Fever Morris. We witnessed the death of Jim Spanda, Professor Burma Massare. They are all on the run. Like the Big Brother Sandy said, no international partner, especially America, the behest of democracy and good governance, we want to give you a compact when you are not a respecter of the rule of law and democracy. Okay. On the CDC issue, let me just say this. Unlike United Party,
that is squabbling and whiling in the crossroads of finding a moral equivalence. Yesterday, United Party were putting all of their headquarters because they didn't pay rent on that CDC. CDC have had a headquarters pay rent consistently for 20 years. We cannot say that for United Party. 41 years of existing United Party, now we get escorted that they are in for the last 10 years. So it's far different. And the CDC, the party headquarters, United Party should shut up. United Party were elected to solve the bread and butter issue of the city. So CDC is a personal issue. Now that CDC party headquarters will give people job. Unemployment will stay at 90. Now that CDC party headquarters will bring inflation down. So United Party should be focusing on governance and not running behind CDC party headquarters. CDC.
You know, somebody.
Any day. Okay, let's say the color.
Somebody get one.
No, the color is already. Let's see this color. Yes, let's hear from you.
Sabah, thank you and for the privilege. Look, it's embarrassing for this guest of yours to say, and in fact, he wants to compare the United Party and the CDC. Yes, it's true. CDC pay rent for how many years you call it, but they pay rent not to the legitimate person. You left out the administrator of the property and you are paying rent to another person. CDC, the only reason why you maintain it because you are in power. You use your influence, but you could not use the influence to buy the place. So the fact is, the United Party even did not leave her place because she did not pay rent. That's the fault you are living with. Okay, my name is Stephelos Tito the second. However, I did not call my name. But let's be honest here. Look, CDC will move from the people place. Move from the people place because you were not in agreement with the administrator of that area.
Okay.
So
okay, you made your point. Let's get another caller on the line. This last caller. We have to go quickly. Yes, good evening.
Yeah, thank you. This is the voice of Emmanuel Corey, and I'm the Secretary General of the District Technical Youth Association. I will just be brief quickly. I will just speak on one topic, which is the CDC party headquarters. And listen to my team brother say, you party no wrong. We can stay for the 1 year in power is struggling for office. We agree. So all the 2 years CDC spend, all the 6 years CDC spend, but they were intimidating the people. They were not paying rent. The law is the law. The Supreme Court has ruled. Let them move.
They say you didn't pay the Supreme Court ruling.
Get a caller, right?
Hello. The law is the law. The court has ruled. Let's say they get on top to pull the things in that and go away.
Okay, let's take this caller. You made a point. Good evening. Okay. So that does it. Mr. Koti?
Yeah, just one question. Mr. Massaquoi.
Yeah.
Mr. Massaquoi.
Yeah.
I just got one question for you in the Liberian way. Why y'all got traffic so?
And there is no traffic.
Why y'all got traffic? All of y'all got traffic. Now all I gotta ask you, why y'all got traffic?
No traffic not there, Mr. Koti.
Okay, answer.
Okay, so that does it. Let's hear your parting comment, George. Quickly.
So I just want to tell my brother Massaquoi, say by you saying UP behind your removal, it will not help you win public sympathy because this is legal issue and you lose the case in court.
Okay.
Back off and leave. That's
Okay.
it. Then on the issue of the report, we asked the government to take that on advisement and act to improve. We know that most of these things are long-standing issues. These are long-standing issues in the country. They can be addressed, and there should be judicial reform so that the issue of pre-trial detention can be handled in this country.
Okay.
So a lot of other things, So those are the issues I think that the government need to do.
Moses, your parting comment?
Yeah, I'd just like to piggyback on what Mr. Koti and Mr. Kennedy said. CDC, like the gentleman said, the law is the law. This has nothing to do with moral equivalence. You didn't pay your rent, you broke the lease, you have to go. You can start the process. You just gotta go. Be responsible. Let me borrow from you. You say you are a responsible party. Be responsible. It's a massacre. Tell your people, let's go. Let's move on. You know, that's how life is, you know. So regarding the report quickly, I agree with what again Mr. Cody and Mr. Kennedy said. Let government step up to the place, correct the little mistakes, try to improve the relationship between the media and the government. The accreditation policy initiated by the press secretary and the others at the Ministry of State, they need to take a closer look at that. We can't be covering you free and you're telling us you want to advertise on our website free of charge. Yeah, you know, see, I don't know, Mr. Kuti. So you're not doing this channel. You're trying to improve this thing here. Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, before we go, let me just recognize some of our viewers. Siliki Trawari, he didn't see what he's calling, where he's been watching from. Ophido S. Joy says she's been watching from home. Gater Harris Gater from Do Community. Abraham B. Kroma, he's been watching from Iron Factory. Henry T. Toll Jr. from Caldwell. Alfred Soiree, he's been watching. He didn't say from where. Pauraliga Political Godson from Rwanda. Hilton Leggero, he said he's been watching from Sano. Robertson Mumbo from GS Road. Nangwe B. Harris, he didn't say from where. Melvin Nathaniel Solo, didn't say from where. Daniel Taddy, Thinkers Village. Vamuya M. Saliv from Broadville. Pastor Sam Michon from home. He said he's been watching. Ernest Johnson from Radio Gagema. Nim McConney, Amos Wa from West Chester. Evangelist Cephas God Cares Bowler, didn't say from where. Alfred Yela Kamani Molba from Banga. Okay, those are some of the viewers that we could recognize tonight. Well, thank you for tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire team, my panelists, guests, and producers, Sabo George is my name. Have a pleasant and restful night.